Yael.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Oh, it is so good to be here. Thank you so much, Aileen and everyone. It seems that, wow, my defects are not going anywhere because of the corona pandemic. They're still the same defects. They're still here. I still want to eat all the time. I still think I'll find, my happiness in food, which obviously I won't. I still become angry really quickly when someone has, thinks differently from me. And wow, do I need the program or now, as I always do? It's also because everybody at my house, some of my kids are still at home. Thank God they all managed to return from abroad on time. And some of them are living here. And there's extra cooking. There's extra, I mean, everybody's doing stuff, but there is more time for everything, obviously. So everybody is around food. You should see, those festive meals that go around. And it's great for them because they're, they can allow it to themselves and it fills their time. It makes them happy. But if I would not have the program and would not have this frame of day and week and meal and 1 hour and half day and full day and my sponsor, etc., then I would probably be eating and I always tell them that once this economic thing is over, I would suggest that everybody spend, invest in diet plan stock, because people will finish this pandemic sick and fat and whatever, just because they don't have a plan. And these programs will flourish like Zoom is flourishing now. It's always what the necessity is. So I'm really, really, really grateful for having you guys, for being part of the World Service, for, finding every morning a mail from one of the friends, asking me to add more meetings to the meetings list on the website, which is like the first thing I do every morning when I wake up and see the requests. And wow, thank you for this plan. Thank you so much. Because again, I'm who I am. And without this program, it's a disaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Inka.
Good afternoon. It's actually here in England, in London. This is Inka, abstinent, grateful on the Grey Sheet, even during these strange times. And I also panicked in the beginning a little bit, and started stocking up. But then once I woke up from that oblivion, I also realized that what am I doing here? Because there's still enough food. It's not like we're gonna run out. England is in a pretty decent condition still. So, and I do have a belief, that everything will be okay. So to me, like weighing and measuring, like I'm still doing it like nothing happened. I don't mean to sound cynical, please don't take me wrong, but still weighing and measuring, still having my meals. And matter of fact, what happened is that I'm spending much less actually on the food now. I do my weekly figures, I record my spendings, and I realized that in past 2 weeks my food bills went down by 50%. And it's not that I'm depriving myself on items or things I like. I'm still actually eating the same. It's just that my bills went down and I'm actually eating less because spending more time at home, and not at work that much, so I'm eating like in a normal times. So it has a lot of positives, and definitely topping up my spiritual game. I meditate more because this time when we can't go out, it actually, and it doesn't even forces me to go in. It feels natural to go inside and to look at myself. So I do much more.
Sorry, that's time.
Thank you. I do much more meditation. That's it. Thank you. No matter what.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. two more communications members. Michael?
Hey, I'm Michael. I'm a compulsive eater. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the gray sheet. I write them down. I call them into my sponsor. I eat everything I commit no matter what. I don't eat anything else no matter what. Abstinence is the most important thing in my life without exception. I'm really grateful for that. It's really great to see everybody here. My abstinence date is 11/23/19. This is day 127, and I cannot imagine what my life would be like going through this if I had not gotten back here and gotten abstinent in time. I would be completely insane. I'm grateful beyond measure and words that I have the serenity around food and in my life that Gray Sheet gives me, that I have the strength from the fellowship. I mean, that's really where I hear and feel my higher power at work in my life is through you guys, is through the connection with you guys. And I mean, that's, the main thing that I'm doing in this is just trying to stay connected as much as possible. That's where I feel bolstered. I get afraid and I get anxious, and as I've been told, that means I'm living in the future, and I have to take this one day at a time at the absolute most. Sometimes I got to scale that back to an hour, 15 minutes, or a phone call, and I have my abstinent food. I get to put it on the scale, and that's the greatest privilege and the greatest joy that I have. And I have 100% faith that if we can stay connected, we can get through anything. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, and our last member of the communications committee, Suzanne.
Thank you so much. I'm Suzanne. I'm a compulsive overeater. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the Cambridge Gray Sheet, commit them to my sponsor, don't eat in between no matter what, and abstinence gives me my life. My abstinence date is February 3rd, 2008. This community is so amazing. First, I feel like saying what they said, like everything that has been said is so beautiful. But one thing that's so true in my life is I have community. We have community. It's extraordinary when people say, well, do you have family? I'm like, yeah, I got this person in LA and that person in blah, 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 in England. And you guys are my family, really. And we have so much practice in living in the day and in working the serenity prayer. One thing that's been clear to me from the very start is I know how to live in fear and projection, so talented at that, but you guys have taught me how to reclaim the day, because when I'm living in fear and projection, I'm not living. So I've been saying to people, we can die prematurely. No, we're here. We have a day, we have an extraordinary day to embrace and do what we need to do and be creative and be loving and make goodness in the world. We have that. Nobody takes that away. Nothing takes that away. The reality, am I looking, who's my timer? Barb, right? The reality element is, do I know how to protect myself? Am I taking, appropriate protocols? Yes. Okay. I'm doing what I can. Now the rest is take this day. This is the day that God has made. Let us rejoice and be grateful in it. It's a day, baby. Thank you. Thank you, Barb.
Thank you. Okay, Sarah.
I was already unmuted. Hi, everyone. Sarah, absent and grateful because I do what the rest of you do. I'm here in France also. And my abstinence date is May 24th, 2009. And I'm going to lower my hand because you look funny there. I think maybe because I'm so old, and I know shit happens. I took this very seriously very long ago, and I was completely stocked and ready. And I've been kind of going down the list of the guidelines that we've been given to fight this life and death disease, meaning food addiction. And I've been going down the list thinking, okay, this is another life and death disease. And the one that I hit upon this morning was, just like I would never let somebody else weigh my food, and I would never let a restaurant bring out the food and assume they weighed it correctly, I'm not going to assume that all those people that are putting out the vegetables and the toilet paper, everything, are thinking about me. And so I am wearing gloves everywhere, and I'm wearing a mask. Most people in Paris are. But today I decided I was going to spray everything as it came in. My sister told me early in the week, just when you bring in your mail, wear gloves. You don't know if they wore gloves or not. Put it out in the sun before you open it up, and wear gloves to open it up, and packaging. And as soon as she said it, I went, well, that's a duh. But why couldn't I think of it? And that's why this community is so important, is because when one of us thinks of something, we tell each other, and then another person thinks of something and we tell each other. And that's the way GreySheet has worked for me, is that people tell me, absolutely, how can I take care of myself and never assume that somebody else is going to take care of me? I'm responsible for myself. And I feel that way about this disease. The hardest part is going outside, because I'm a tactile person. I hate wearing gloves everywhere. Thank you, Barb. And the mask, I breathe and it makes my glasses do up, but I only have to go out once a week. So I love you all, and I expect to see each one of you here in 2 and 3 weeks. And I think we're in it for the long haul.
Okay. Okay, Jennifer.
That's
Hey.
me. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm grateful compulsive overeater. Hi, everyone. It's so good to see everyone. Oh my God, even people in Florida I get to see. I don't eat no matter what. It's the most important thing in my life. And I'm going to riff off of what everyone has said and be quick, but we cannot be too vigilant. This is a disease that is taking lives. And I will be very candid here. My husband and I talked about our will last night. You know, this is a very sobering, we're having sober conversations, we're being real. I have taken it a little step further. We spray the bottom of our shoes. When we come in, I take my shoes off, I spray the bottom of my slippers, I put my slippers on, so I only wear my slippers throughout the day. I just want to add too, and not to reinforce panic, because we will get through this together. We have something other people don't. This is a solid connection that we all have. We are so blessed. But I will say that there was a doctor from Madrid on last night begging people to close Madrid because people are dying. And, you know, this will come, all these moral objectives will come up for each one of us. And we're going to have to make possibly hard decisions. You know, I'm in the apex of the next storm. You know, I'm in Palm Beach, and we have a lot of elderly people. And so I am focused on what I love here is prayer. My emotional and mental health is going to be the premier thing that gets me through this. And that's by being connected to all of you. I love you no matter what.
Thank you. Okay, I have Norman's iPad on my list. I don't know if it's Norman or Norman's iPad.
Yes, it's Norman's. Norman's
Okay.
iPad. Hi, family. My name is Norman. I'm definitely a compulsive overeater. And I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the GreySheet. I commit them to my sponsor. I don't eat in between meals no matter what. And thank God for absent. I'm truly absent today by the grace of God and the help of this wonderful fellowship, one day at a time. I want to thank the World Service Communication Committee for setting this up. I want to thank, they say it's easier by the inch than it is by the yard. This is a one day at a time program. I got to keep it in the now. I woke up this morning. I said my prayer and meditation, you know, to get me centered for the day, you know. So I got to keep it. I'm alive. I'm a part of this fellowship. What we could do together. You know, I can't do it by myself. You know, I used to always say, I'm the face-to-face person. You know, but now I'm grateful. You know, because man, we plan, but God, puts things. That things happen, man. You know, and it's life on life's terms. Nobody said that because I got abstinent, that stuff wasn't going to happen in my life. So, we're here, keep it in the now. It's easier by the inch than it is by the yard. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you. Okay, Mary.
Hi, my name is Mary. I'm a compulsive overeater, and I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the gray sheet. I write it down, commit it to my sponsor or someone else with 90 days of back-to-back gray sheet abstinence. I don't eat in between meals no matter what, and abstinence is the most important thing in my life today. And I'm abstinent today by the grace of God and the fellowship of this community. My abstinence date is April 25th, 1995. I want to thank the committee. And gray sheet works. Some time ago, my wife had said, if you didn't go to the store, you could survive for at least 6 months. So because I learned this in early abstinence, your food comes number one before anybody, anything, any organization, anything. And when I was listening to people talk about the no matter what's, so for me, this is just another no matter what. When my mom died, I cried. That was a no matter what. I thought I had anxiety. It was horrible. It was horrible. If you haven't been through it, just hang on through it, because a lot of us have gotten through that. But the game changer for me was in September 10th, 2011. Sorry. I learned transcendental meditation. And that to me, TM to me is like what Gray Sheet is to dieting. It's simple, because I've heard it said many times, this program is a simple program for complicated people. And even in early abstinence, and I would say, but, and everybody goes, Mary, just weigh and measure your food. That's all you have to do today. And I would go, oh, okay. And I did. And I've been doing it for, 24 plus years and gotten through so many no matter what's, sad ones and happy ones. Sometimes the happy ones scared me more than the sad ones, because I was used to that kind of pain. But then, when good things started happening, I was like, whoa, what's that? So I'm just grateful. Thank you, Timekeeper, no matter what. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, I have Christina. Christina from Boca Raton.
Thank you, Lee, right here. Thank you so much. I'm Christina. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day. I write them down. I call them into my sponsor, and I do not eat, no matter what, on day 78. I'm truly, truly grateful. And thanks for Zoom. And I just want to send my love to all the beautiful ladies and handsome men on here. And thank you, Lee. My husband, I have to share this one thing. He keeps telling me for the past couple of years since we moved to Florida that he wants to go on a boat. And I'm like, how do you work abstinence on a boat? So I'm so grateful that there's, so I know somebody that could help me get through that. I don't want to do this alone anymore. I tried too many times and it doesn't work my way. And so now, now I see dozens of people on here, so I don't feel alone. Just the visual affirmation to me, as well as the auditory, is helping me tremendously. And thank you for telling me not only am I responsible for my food, but I'm also responsible for my health. And these are the things that I neglect a lot. So I needed that reminder today. Love to all.
Thank you. Okay, Laura H.
Okay, good morning. Thanks. My name is Laura, compulsive eater. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the Gray Sheet. I call them in my sponsor. and I don't eat in between meals no matter what. And my abstinence date is 12/3/19. Thank you so much, everyone, that put this together. This is such a great way to start my morning. I've been starting my morning reading the latest statistics of who's died. Like, this is crazy. I got to stop the news. So today I'm doing a news fast. But I just want to say a couple of things. My sponsor taught me a relapsing came back, and she had this relapse prevention sheet. And one of the things on there is I only, she may have said this before too, but I only commit the food that I have on hand, which I didn't do before. And that kind of got me ready to have food. I have to have a certain amount of food here so that I'm not like, I don't have any food to commit. So that's been really helpful that she has taught me, without even knowing, she taught me to just plan and prepare and protect. And I've also had to adjust my thinking that I can't always have fresh everything, which is what I've been doing because it's been, easy. But luckily right now I'm able to find fresh stuff, but I need to have backup that's canned food, that's frozen food, that's stuff that, nothing against those foods, but like I want everything fresh. I had this fear that if everything wasn't like a number 10, that I was going to start eating again, which that's fine. I mean, it's fine to have that thought and make my food as good as I can. So I don't, because I'm new. But the last thing I wanted to say is just my relationship with my higher power is essential. And I really have to protect myself from too much binging on negative news and thinking. And I just got to start my day like this, and with prayer and my meditation. And it's essential right now. I have to, or I'll get major anxiety. So I'm just so grateful that we're all here together, because I'm kind of an introvert and I really just want to be an introvert. And this has made me realize how much I need you guys and how much we need each other. So I'm just really grateful to be abstinent right now. I'm so grateful. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, Mindy.
Hi, everybody. Mindy, compulsive eater. Weigh and measure my food off the gray sheet. Give it to a sponsor, Jody. In between, it's the most important thing in my day. Great to see everybody. I had to reduce a couple of times because there are people, I think, exercising. So just be aware of, I move. I'm a little movie person, so I'm trying to be more aware. So anyway, I'm grateful to see all of you and start my day like this. I think the most important thing for me has been keeping structure. And well, let me talk about food first, because that's always the most fun issue. I haven't been to a supermarket in, I don't know, many months. I use delivery services. So they're about a week to 10 days out. So once I get an order, I start another order. So, and I'm also one of those people who can eat for a month in my house. And I'm not a canned person, but my freezer's packed and my fridge is packed, and I'm grateful. I'm just so grateful, because as I said on another meeting, I mean, I could actually be here, for 8 weeks and come out another size, like unrecognizable, if I didn't have this program. So I'm very grateful. So I'm also working, and I've never really experienced so many emotions in a day. I'm in healthcare. I'm not clinical, but I'm seeing obstetric patients every day, and the fear and, I feel actually good. I'm afraid to say I feel good. I love my home. I love my walks. I love my meetings. I go from a meeting to an exercise class or a walk, and then I do work for the office and, as I said, structuring my day. But I'm happy, and I'm so sad and terrified for these people. Is that me, Barb? Yes. Okay, good to see you all, no matter what, and pray for healthcare workers, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Anne B. in France.
Hello, my name is Anne. I am on the gray sheet, abstinence since June the 7th, 1992. And I do not panic, because I have I want to share a big experience that I had in GreySheet 3 years ago. There were a GreySheeter here who were not speaking French, and she was in a little town not far from my town. And at one point, I went to visit her, and she was at home just with a cat, and she looked happy. And I asked her, "How do you do to stay abstinent and happy when you can't speak with others, when you don't have friends, when you don't know the language, there is nothing to do in this town?" And she said to me, I attend meetings, I call my sponsors, I make phone calls, then I prepare my meals, I have my abstinent meals, I do some meditation, and again and again and again every day. So this was my first thought when I heard about being locked in. And so far it's my way of life. I know that if I do all those things, I could be happy, joyous, and free. Thanks for letting me share.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Let's see. Yeah, just a second. Okay, thank you, Anne. And Katie is next.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the gray sheet. I write those meals down. I commit them to my sponsor. I don't eat in between those meals no matter what. And I make God naps. It's the most important thing in my life today, without exception. So grateful for this platform. I heard someone say, man, I wish I had stock in Zoom before all this. But anyway, I'm just grateful for all the things you have all shared so much. That's been so helpful for me. One thing that I read this morning, just a title of an article that I plan to read later, but the title is that discomfort that you're feeling is grief. And I think right now it's a bit of a grieving process for me. I have 2 children, 3.5-year-old and a almost 7-month-old. And so I, over the last 7 months with my baby, have been grieving the process of not being able to go and interact with people the way that I want to, because my older child has been getting sick, like just random stuff, like once a month. And so I've been going through this process, every month, okay, I'm stuck at home because I can't go out and see people. I can't go interact with other people. And so it was interesting that when this all kind of started for us here in the US, particularly on the East Coast, we were having a period of sickness-free time. It was great. And I'm now we're stuck at home. And so I'm definitely grieving the community, the hugs, the connection. I know that we are so blessed to be able to have this platform right now. I have so many friends who are like, what's Zoom? And I'm like, what? What's Zoom? How have you never heard? So I just feel really blessed to be where I am right now. And be able to share what I know and what I do. And I too have been, my heart has been so heavy for students in particular. People who have big life events planned, obviously people who have family members, friends that are affected. My best friend is in New York City. And I just, my heart has been breaking, and I've been trying to stay out of my isolation, my own introverted time. It's hard with, more people in the house. So anyway, I'm so grateful to be here, and I don't eat no matter what. Thank you all so much for this meeting and for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Katie. Okay, next person. I don't know you. I'm going to spell your name because I don't know how you pronounce it. Jaim.
Hello, my name is Chaim.
Hi.
It's written in Spanish, that's why. I'm a compulsive overeater from Israel. Hi. This is my first international meeting. I'm very grateful to GreySheet. Let me show you how I arrived.
Ooh.
In the 31st of May 2015, I was already in abstinence and clean and sober for almost 23 years. Now it's 27 years from alcohol and drugs. But I forgot about my addiction to food. So I'm really grateful for the GreySheet food, all the food that it provides me, it makes my life really easy right now. My problem today is you cannot quarantine my emotional life. I've been alone now for a couple of days in my apartment in Tel Aviv, and I find a lot of comfort in knowing that I have 3 meals a day. I don't have to worry about it. I weigh and measure, but all the rest, you know, the worries, the emotional ups and downs, really turns me back to the essence, to my toolkit, to work the steps, to call my sponsor, to talk to my sponsees, to do service. That's what I do to stay sane, because it never happened before. I'm a 3-war veteran in Israel in a fighting unit, but I wasn't afraid then. But I can share it with you that I have some fear about the situation. I need to vent it, to express it, to be with you, to belong to a bigger group than just my small apartment in Tel Aviv. And I'm really grateful for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Carolyn S.
There. Can I be heard?
Yes.
Good morning. First and foremost, thank you so much to the Communication Committee for setting this up. 206851, I'm a phone bridge person for 20 years. And I'm very active in my AA community, which, thank God, Zoom is, so I do weigh and measure my food from my Cambridge Grey Sheet. I write it down. I commit it to my sponsor or another loving, qualified person if need be. I don't eat in between meals no matter what. Abstinence is my primary purpose, and it is the most important thing in my life today without exception. My abstinence date is 4/5/4. And I guess what I want to share today is, for me, I'm really getting in touch with grief and grieving. I just moved back to Southern California, and I've been working and commuting to Seattle. And my people that I've been working for came down here on February 17th. And we are here now in LA. I work 3 days a week in LA. And this grief that I'm feeling is specifically for a son. We have been in preparation for over 2 years for a huge wedding. And the wedding, obviously, they've actually sent the second invitation now this week. It's all been postponed. And, just being here, being present, he just closed on his home like this week. And I moved last week. I turned 65 and moved last week here to this community again in Irvine. What I want to say about that is just, grief for me has always been unresolved. Envy has been unresolved grief. And right now in my new apartment here, I'm loaded with food. It starts with the food, it ends with the food. That was what my first Cambridge sponsor helped me with. My backup is in my car still, scales, etc. We all know what to do. But the most important thing I want to share today is that my sponsees, keeping them, just being connected and remembering to keep the oxygen mask on first for my own self. And I just got off the 7 a.m. Eastern meeting, phone bridge. I am the GSR there. And I think the most important thing right now with our Zoom community expanding, growing,
Excuse me,
I looked at the
Carolyn.
list. Thank you so much, Timekeeper. Yes. Is that we just stay connected and we have an attitude of this amazing gratitude. So thank you, Timekeeper. And thanks, everybody. We don't eat no matter what.
Yeah,
no matter what. Thank you.
Okay, Alyssa, and then Joyce, and then Grania.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Elisa from New York, and I gratefully weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the Grey Sheet, commit them to my sponsor on time every morning, and God and abstinence are the most important thing. I don't know how I would get through this, this challenge without end if I didn't have the Gray Sheet program, my higher power, and this community. Like everyone has their own little piece to contribute to make this work. And I really thank you, Communication Committee, for setting this up. And I'm learning now, like how to be a better Zoomer, I guess. Like now I learned today that I can enlarge the screen of the person who's speaking, because now that we have multiple screens on the meeting, I'd be like, who's speaking where, and I would be switching the pages, and then I would just get very like distracted by it. So now it's like, I'm looking at you, Lee, right now. And that's it. And I just, I'm not able to deal with all that stuff. I feel safe and also not so safe. I'm in the high risk age group. And my son-in-law, who works in journalism, does have the virus, but he's at home with my daughter and his family, and I hope it can stay that way. But, it's real. And I know, some people who've been hospitalized, this is really, really real. And I just hope when it's over that I'll be able to leave my apartment without, freaking out. But these Zoom meetings and the phone meetings are just incredible. Thank you, everybody, no matter what.
Thank you, Elisa. Okay, Joyce.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joyce. I'm in Kansas City. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the Gray Sheet. I write it down. I call it into my sponsor, and I don't eat between meals no matter what. Abstinence and my higher power are the most important things in my life today, without exception. And my abstinence date is March 24th, 1997. I don't know how I would be doing this without this community, and I want to thank everyone for this meeting this morning. I'm in the Midwest in the United States, and we, didn't get to this place until after Europe. And it wasn't until I read a post on GreyNet about stocking up and taking precautions that I thought, whoa, something's really happening with this. And so I did. Because of this fellowship, I went to the store. I like to go to the grocery store 2 or 3 times a week and get fresh food. And I thought, oh, I better stock up. So I ran and I got things for my freezer, canned foods, everything, all my soy products. I probably shouldn't mention that, but I ordered them online and got them all in. And within 3 or 4 days, I went back to the grocery store here, and the shelves were empty in certain places, and I could not believe it. But I had planned and I had prepared because I'm part of this fellowship, and I read that on GreyNet. So I'm just so, so grateful. I like to be alone. I'm very comfortable being home. In fact, I was talking to my brother. We're both introverts, and he was saying, oh, now I have an excuse for social distancing. So now it's okay. So, and I thought, oh, that's so true for me. But thank you, Barb, I see. But I don't really social distance because I have this fellowship and these Zoom meetings. So thank you all for being there, and I'll pass.
Thank you, Joyce. Okay, we only have time for one more, and that is Grania. So Grania, go ahead.
Thanks, Lee. I'm Grania, compulsive eater. Hi, everybody. In Houston, I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the Gray Sheet. I turn them over to my sponsor or another qualified person. I don't eat no matter what, and I do eat what I've committed no matter what, and my abstinence is the most important thing in my life. My abstinence date is September 16th, 1994. Huge thanks to the Communication Committee for putting this on. It was such a great idea, giving us something to look forward to as we all went into isolation. We would see each other eventually. And thanks a million to Yael for posting all the video meetings. The last time I counted, I think there were 15 new video meetings, and that was, I think, 2 days ago. So if you go to GreySheet.org and look under meetings and video meetings, you will be so amazed. Thanks to all who shared. Everybody came at it from a different perspective. So it was cumulative, you know, I got so much from everything that people shared. So thank you for the service you did today. If you found it valuable, please remind the rest of your Grey Sheet community that we have another meeting this afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And if they weren't able to make this one, they could do that. I'm on the board of trustees, and we are your board, and we wrote a letter in response to the COVID-19 situation and sent it out to everybody. Some people have said it was written by our Vice President, Laura L. in Connecticut, and some people have said that it was very comforting and helpful. And if you didn't receive it, it's on the home page, GreySheet.org. And if you didn't receive it, it's probably because you're not on the GSA phone list. If you would like to receive other critical Grey Sheet mailings and be available to 800 other abstinent Grey Sheeters around the world in this time of isolation, you can join the GSA phone list. Also, thank you, Barb, also on the homepage, GreySheet.org. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Grania. Okay, will the moderator please stop the recording?